So it's been a while since my last theme crafting video, but it doesn't mean that it's something that has fallen off my radar. I have been really busy with trying new decks from the expansion and trying to finish some of my master difficulty PvE guides, and work's been crazy and so on and so forth. So I thought it was time that we posted another theme crafting video. If you're not familiar with the last one that I did, the idea of these videos is going to be to showcase some decks that are more theme-oriented than necessarily competitive-oriented. That's not to say that these decks are not going to be good, but they're not going to be necessarily great, right? We're not going to be trying to powerhouse these in. These are instead meant to either fit a theme or do something cheeky. So, for this video, I'm going to showcase a deck that is based off a Magic the Gathering deck archetype. If you've played Magic the Gathering, you may be familiar with the phrase "red deck wins," which is the name of a deck that was popularized in the early 2000s. The idea is you play mono red, and it's usually either aggressive decks or mid-range decks, and you're trying to get as much value as you can out of basically just playing mountains and everything that goes with it. So, I kind of got the idea because in my head I was toying with the idea of what it would look like if Mighty Ally had a 100% chance to trigger, and I thought, well, gee, that might be fun, and it might also open up some fun synergies with Northwind Outpost, for example. That's a card that sees play just in general, but if you're in a mono red, a mono strength scenario, then it's that much better. So, kind of leaning on that, I started to develop this list and explore some other fun cards. Another kind of cool card that I don't see a lot of play necessarily is Lumbering Ogrim. I think that his big body is great and he hits like a truck, but oftentimes when you're playing strength-based decks, your other color usually has one or two really good 4-drops. And then in strength, you're going to run Earthbone Spinner. And so often he just kind of doesn't make the cut, right? Usually if you're going to include something outside of Earthbone from the strength category, it's your unique legends like Garnag or Reeves. So being that we're trying to stick to one color or one attribute, we have some room. So I get to input Lumbering Ogrim into my list and be happy just because I think that he's an underused gem. So, it's a mono-red list, but there are 4 slots that are technically dual attribute cards. I still consider it to be mono-red largely because the Mighty Ally trigger is still going to be 100%. Northwind Outpost still 100% applies to all of our creatures. So, in this list, I opted to go with Sower of Revenge and Gortwog. Just because they're both fantastic cards, and I felt like they were easy includes. Doesn't mean that you have to go the warrior route, though. In fact, Battle Mage has some really quality dual attribute cards that could easily just replace those slots, as does Crusader. So you don't have to go this way. This is just the way that I went, mostly because we've got a lot of things that have a big body, or even more specifically, a big attack stat. Again, you know, Mighty Ally, Lumbering Ogrim, Belligerent Giant, so on and so forth. So when you combine those with some direct damage from Sower of Revenge, you can pile up the damage pretty quickly and have a lot of fun doing it. So I did actually play some games with this list. So unlike the last theme crafting list that we made, which was before the expansion and it was more theoretical, this time I actually get to showcase some games. I actually took it on the ranked ladder. I think when I was done, I was finishing with like a 50-50 ratio for games. I think I played like 10 or 12 in total, but we're going to showcase a couple of the wins. So here you go. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright, so we are going first against Scout. I don't want any of these, I don't think. That didn't get a whole lot better. This is actually pretty horrible start against what I can only assume is Ramp Scout. Heaven help you if I get to the end part of my curve, Silver Axe. Now, if we top deck a Mighty Ally here, we'll make up for it, but...
What have we here?
It's not Smut because she's an android. Oh my gods. Well...
Come and warm yourself.
Rip me and my curve. Don't even have a 4-drop yet? GG.
The waters of life. My scales move in shadow.
Close ranks. Let nothing through.
Okay. I guess we'll do that. Hey, Tavarish.
My
How you doing,
scales
BB?
move in shadow.
The forest is my club.
Leaf Lurker.
Seed and spleen.
This is totally not a good hand for this. Like, we have to hope that he just runs out of finish off
I am a
effects.
child of darkness.
Really?
Seed and spleen.
Really? Had to be a Night Shadow, huh? See, I'm torn. I really want to go face here, but I feel like trading here is actually the right play, since I'm going to Earthbone this so that he can't gain life, and then if he has to trade that in... But then I didn't get rid of that, and I'd like to get rid of both of them. Yeah, never mind. We're going face.
The forest will not suffer your presence.
We'll see how they like someone
Alright,
who
let's
fights
do that way.
back.
Hey! I'm not talking about the graphics at all. That's the way I like it. See, I I loved Soma, right? Like, I also love games that, like, kind of challenge you psychologically. Really? You had 2 fucking Leaf Lurkers? Rip me.
The waters of life.
And another Tree Minder? What is this sorcery?
The day is mine.
I hope you like giant bodies, because I had all the top end of my curve here, Silver Axe.
Duma, take you.
I really needed some sowers a while ago.
Let's go then. My time is precious.
Alright, Baroness.
I would protect the hist.
Really? He ripped... There's a sower. He ripped a Preserver from his Baroness and then was able to play it? Fine.
There's nowhere they can hide.
Just continue to ram my Sentinel down your throat. Because you're bad at making time for... Dude, I am too, that's the problem. They're always the last thing down the list, right? It's like I got a couple of different multiplayer games I play, so like... you know, I sign in, I do my dailies, and then if there's time left, you hit the other stuff. Soma did great with the horror atmosphere, but Soma also did great... Like, it was one of those games that I just was routinely thinking about days later. Like, it's the only way I know how to put it. Like, days later, I'd be, like, questioning what it means to even be alive, and... Rage, huh? It might be useful later, but it's not so much right now. Guess we just keep playing Stampede Sentinel. Where Talos seems like a sequel to Soma. I really liked Soma.
Now you will see real power.
Alright. Ideal scenario, he pulls a gargoyle and drops it in the right. Well, that wasn't a gargoyle.
Tawaka watches over me.
But we still got the damage in. Hooray, unstoppable rage!
Surrender.
Alright. Should be fine. I don't think he can play 2 guards now, and the Vigilante wins the game for us, so...
It has been
All right.
an engaging hunt.
There's nowhere.
First game out. Even though we had a really slow hand, it turns out those Stampede Sentinels get the job done. Alright, we're going second against Warrior. I really like these two with the ring, so I think we actually just ship the Gatekeeper back and hope for a 2-drop. There we go. Like, there's games that I enjoy and I would still, like, revisit them mentally a bit later and be like, oh yeah, like, I finally remember that, or that part was really cool or really well done, or, you know, like, I really enjoyed The Last of Us, and so, like, a day or two after The Last of Us, I might be thinking to myself, like, you know, oh my god, that, you know, one part was really heart-wrenching, but not like those hit me in a different way. Soma was one of those games where I was, like, legitimately,
Will be ours.
like, thinking about certain things.
Follow.
Wow. Bringing the heat, we are! Hey, Dragon! Since you have tomorrow off, nice! I do not have tomorrow off, but we're trying some new stuff tonight. We're gonna try a version of Larson's Crusader with some minor tweaks, and we're playing right now to start the night what I call Red Deck Wins, which is an old Magic term. Thank you for using that. Let's hope you don't have another silence. But basically, in case you didn't notice from the list, it's technically Warrior. We have 4 class cards, but everything is red. Kleshumara, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
We stand united.
Oh, and you as well, Dragon.
The day is mine.
Mucho apreciado. I don't think I got a way to avoid it. That would have been a good time to draw an Earthbone for the victory. So I think we could play the Blood Dragon. Well, so this is interesting, right? Like, if we play the Blood Dragon, then next turn we have victory with Gatekeeper and Buffet, and he'd have to have a removal for this. Or we could double guard up to try to protect this. I actually think the Blood Dragon's better. Because this forces him to trade, and then it's hard for him to, I think, take care of the 7 health here. Like, he would have to mummify this, basically, to keep us from losing. You miss Magic? Well, Red Deck Wins was, like,
Well fought.
an old name for Sly, basically. Which was named after a guy named Sly, but...
Close ranks. Let nothing through. Close ranks. Let
Oh yeah, we're
nothing
fine.
through.
Even with the trade, we got it.
Come out.
It has been an engaging hunt.
Close
We
ranks.
got it.
Let nothing through.
Alright, that's a good way to start the night. I wasn't actually expecting to win with this, I just kind of liked the idea of... this is basically a mono-colored deck. I really liked the idea of Mighty Ally having 100% trigger rate, because at a 3-drop, a 6/3 breakthrough right now is really strong. Used to be weak in the past because Crushing Blow was a staple card. But with the exception of certain control mage builds, and not even all of them do it, but certain control mage builds do, almost nobody's running Crushing Blow anymore. So with Crushing Blow mostly out of the format, Mighty Ally becomes really strong. And he's even stronger when you can play Unstable or Unstoppable Rage with him from hand. So that was kind of like, when I was theory crafting this, what I was going for. Look at it. Yeah, it's a cactus, it's a dick, it's a lot of things. It doesn't look like a tower. Alright, we're going first against Spell Sword. Now, if this is Spell Sword control, this could give us fits, because they have a lot of hard removal. That's not horrible, I guess. But they have a lot of hard removal and some decent ways to gain life, so... This helps a ton. If we can stick this and it really is Spell Sword control, this may do everything we need it to do, so... let's actually go with the Mage Slayer. I like to be reactive with the guards when possible.
By Arca's beard, this day will be mine.
Alright, not much I can do about that.
Feel my wrath.
Tuwako watches over me.
Not much I can do to stop us from that trade. I mean, we could drop a guard in front of it, but both of our guards also have 2 health, so...
Confound you.
Take the damage, get it in. This at least put him off of Edict for a turn. Alright, so he's on Ramp Spell Sword. That is good to know. Alright, Mighty Ally or Lumbering Ogre? Mighty Ally. Better Saturation is Ogrim, because then next turn we can Protector and Ally, or Protector and Gatekeeper, depending on what's needed, so... We'll Saturate better this way, and say, hey! I'm thinking about driving some damage to your face! So he can Edict now if he uses the ring. He cannot Javelin. So still kind of working in our favor. If he runs Crushing Blow, he could also do that, but that eats up basically his turn, so... Hopefully Cultist is doing its job.
You must be cleansed.
Silence here. Yeah. I had a feeling this was hanging him up pretty hard. Well, he used a silence, so that feels even stronger now because it survives, but I still feel like it's probably Gatekeeper, Protector. He'll be able to use Immolating Blast if he has it, but not Dawn's Wrath yet, so I think that's...
Close ranks, let nothing through.
A dark omen for you.
We'll
Alright.
see how they like someone who
So
fights.
double guards means he would have to have, again, like 2 removals to be able to trade in here, or he can just use the removal on this if he has it, but then we've got a fair amount of damage in. The fact that he's used 1 silence is great, because that means his last gasp is more likely to stick. I think we're in a decent
For
spot.
the Emperor.
So he's going to steal 1 guard keyword. Fair. Has he got another one? Yeah, he's got Execute. Okay, so he did have the requisite removal to gum us up. And he does run Crushing Blow. So earlier I can almost guarantee that was hanging him up a bit. Oh, well, we can take the trade, or we could protect our guy with an Earthbone and swing, but I feel like he's going to end up having like Hive Defenders, which would give our Earthbone a better target. So I think it's Saturate time.
As long as I draw blood.
Let's go with that. And then next turn, if he plays a guard or something we're spinning, we could spin her an
I
ally.
would protect the hiss.
Hey, do you remember when I said if he plays a guard? We do kind of have to worry about
By Arca's beard,
Dawn's
this day
Wrath
will be
now.
mine.
Though if he loads up
By
that lane
Arca's
over
beard,
there.
This day will be mine.
Interesting. Oh no! Yeah. That was not the best outcome for us. How do we want to handle this? I think it's still Earthbone ally. Though I could buy an argument to not. I mean, if we play the Sower over here, that works out pretty well in our favor as well. And then we could ally and Vigilante and save the Earthbone for when we really need it. Alright, fine. He's already used one Crushing Blow. So we'd have to either buff these guys or like use some sort of hard removal. Unless he silences it first. You'd have to like silence, buff. Oh. That works too. Alright, so we need 1 damage. we have to do 1 damage to him somehow. That's not 1 damage. Nonetheless.
The forest will not suffer your presence.
I mean, if I do this, he's just going to Manticora. But if I play this, he's just going to Manticora that as well, so... I guess it doesn't matter. This at least threatens lethal, but he's going to Manticora. It's probably a mistake to have Earthboned that preemptively. I probably should have just stuck something there and tried to bait the Manticora. That might have been a play mistake.
Let none defile our temple.
Oh. Now I still need 1 more damage. You dirty son of a... Alright, now I need more than 1 more damage.
The day is mine.
I mean, I could bounce that to do 3 to his face, but then he's just going to play it and regain health, so I think we just kill it. So now we're in an interesting position where he still hasn't played a Manticora. I have to assume that he has some. Part of me really wants to Belligerent Giant this, because then if he doesn't have hard removal, the Giant gets us home. Problem though is he's only played realistically 2 hard removal. This is a rough spot to be in.
There's nowhere they can hide.
I think we do this.
Their defenses will crumble.
I mean, if he's got a Manticora, there's not much we can do about it. This at least gets us within striking distance, makes him panic, hopefully, a little bit.
Confound you! Hiding will not save.
Oh, he's got Nahag Wave. Okay. If that's all he's got, if he doesn't have like an Edict or something to follow up, then we're good. Belligerent Giant will do his duty.
It has been an engaging hunt.
The silent guard with you.
All right.